Hi, guys. This is Daniel Alexander Cannon here on the Supernatural Show. It may take a few minutes for a lot of the people to get in here because this is kind of an unannounced show. And so we'll give them a few minutes, but we're going to be talking about, we're going to be doing a little bit different show today. And this isn't we'll still have our normal format shows, but today I have a new member of our team, Roxy, here with us, and she is a supernatural research assistant. And of course, y'all guys know Shannon, the co-host of the show, and you know Dan, who is the my supernatural advisor. And I see y'all guys are starting to show up. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'll explain again what we're kind of doing because people are starting to pile in. I appreciate y'all guys coming. We're kind of doing a different kind of a thing today live, and that is I have a new member of our team here, Roxy. She is our supernatural research assistant, and she's a new member of our team. Hopefully y'all guys welcome her. And
hello, everybody.
We're going to be doing a couple things today. One is y'all guys can join us in the studio if you want to talk about what we're talking about, or maybe some other subjects as well. You'll be able to do that. Okay. The link, if you're on YouTube, on one of the YouTube channels, the link is right below the video. In the more section, it's at the very top, and it looks like this. And when you come in, if you want to come on and join us, this is similar to what y'all guys, some of you will see on TikTok, where there's like 8 people on at one time talking. I think about the max we're going to have on here is less than that. Okay, probably maybe I might allow 4 to 6 maybe other people on the stage with us, and we're going to have a conversation. We're not going to be arguing, cussing, fighting. That kind of stuff will get you banned permanently from being able to come into the show as a guest. So if you decide you want to click on the link and join us here on the show to have a conversation about what we're going to be talking about, you're welcome to do so. Just understand that this is not TikTok, and this is my show, and I don't allow cursing, attacking other people. What I do promote is allowing people to disagree and have completely opposite opinions or beliefs of what they think something is, because none of us know for sure what a lot of things are, including the topics that we're going to be talking about today. So what are we going to be talking about? Well, we're going to be talking about, actually what we're going to be doing, let me show you here, is we're going to be going over here on TikTok for one thing, and we're going to be watching, because I always do this anyways. I go through all the new videos that come out on TikTok and YouTube and other platforms, of new videos that are about subjects that I'm researching and paying attention to. In this case, today it's talking about orbs, or what I call angels. Okay. And I'm going to explain to you why I call them that and why I know that this is the case. This is my belief. It's okay if you believe something different. We just don't have to fight about it. Okay. We can be nice, cordial, and discuss it and propose information and ideas and go from there. And we can disagree. You can even disagree with me, and it ain't going to get you banned or kicked off the show. What get you banned is attacking me or anyone else that's on the show, or attacking people in the comments. That'll get you banned as well. Now, if you're not on YouTube and you want to join, you still can. That's the link right there. I'll leave it up here for a minute so that you could write it down or type it in and join in the show, because we are live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, kick.com, DLive, and Rumble. So that's the link that you can join if you're watching this on some other platform. Now, what we are going to do is everyone that comes in the studio is going to have their cameras off. Okay. We're not going to have cameras on today. That's why you can't see me. And you'll be shown as a little bubble like what you see here with me and Roxy. It's just, you'll be a bubble on here and you can tell when someone's talking. And when you come in, though, I do want you to put your name, put a name, whatever you want to be called by. It may automatically do that because it's going to require you to authenticate to be a guest on the show. What that means is that you have to log in through YouTube or Facebook, which, identifies you basically. And so that we don't get anybody in here that wants to just be an idiot or a donkey, because we don't argue with donkeys. And we definitely don't show donkeys doing donkey stuff. So, yeah, so your camera will be off. If you don't turn it off, I'll turn it off. Or my assistant, Miss Kim, will turn you off, or either Roxy will turn you off. And what I'm saying is turn your camera off. Your mic can stay on unless you've got a lot of background noise. If you've got a lot of background noise, I ask you to mute. Now, the other thing we're going to be talking about today as well, that you guys are welcome to join in on the conversation, is this. As you are familiar with what this image probably is, or where it's from at least, it is from, of course, the super ritual that they just had. The ancient volcanoes, put that back up a second. Whoever put that up there. Daniel, if you followed up on the ancient volcanoes series, there is a whole town, central PA, that is burning underground. Maybe a volcano is being formed under the Appalachians. So that's in Pennsylvania. Yeah, I'm still very interested in that topic because, as many of you know, I dug into that a while back, and I'm going to be digging more into it. As to, it appears to me there's a lot of logical evidence that looks like volcanoes are actually ancient giant trees. The leftovers, the remnants that are still underground, which is the stump underground and the root systems. And we're talking trees that were, 10 miles across, 20 miles across, like the size of the island of Hawaii. But I don't want to get too far down that subject. But if you think about lighterwood and what lighterwood is, it's energy, great amounts of energy stored underground. And you dig up that stump, and you can set it on fire. And if you grind it up into powder, it can even be turned into an explosive. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. And I appreciate the question there. And here's that link again real quick in case one of you didn't get it that wanted it. But the link is already underneath the in the details, or the more button underneath both YouTube lives. So you could click on that and you can join as a guest here on the show with me and Roxy, my research assistant, and have a conversation with us about whatever it is we're talking about, or maybe something that's related kind of that you want to talk about. And we'll have shows sometimes on like this that are going to be on various different topics. But the biggest change is I'm allowing anyone to join. And if you're already logged in on YouTube, it'll be real easy to authenticate, to prove who you are, kind of, at least who your channel is, and you can come in and be able to talk to us. You can also use Facebook to do that. Now, so Roxy, thanks for being here today, and thanks for offering to help with some things that she's already doing for us, like she's doing a little bit of recruiting for us, because there's a few people out there that I would like to chase down and see if we can't get them on the show for certain reasons. No, not big YouTubers. Big YouTubers are of no interest to me. It's more people that have something to truly offer, and they tend to be shadow banned YouTubers, which never get extremely large. Kind of like me. I've been doing it for 15 years, and I've got just 105 5 or so thousand subscribers on LogicBeforeAuthority and a bunch on a few other places. But anyways, with all that being said, let's see. Why don't we start with the Super Bowl conversation, and then if it doesn't go too long, we'll do what I normally just do every day. I've just decided to start sharing it, which is to look at all the new orb videos that have come out of people filming orbs in the skies and other things in the skies, okay, that come out on TikTok. And we'll be able to do that very easily here by coming over here and just clicking on the video like this. That one's a real short video. It's just showing what somebody would call an armada of angels in the sky. At least that's what it appears to be. And I know that there are a lot of man-made things out there that they're flying around as well. Like, matter of fact, there's one out there that's shaped just like this play button icon right here. It's a triangle-shaped craft that I've seen. Actually, Roxy has seen, and Miss Kim has seen. Me and Miss Kim seen it one night together, and my brother's seen it flying here in the skies at nighttime in South Carolina. But again, another whole story. But we're going to look at some different videos and some different things here, possibly in just a few minutes. But first, we're going to talk about instead of the supernatural, we're going to talk about the Super Bowl, which is a giant ritual where they're harvesting the energy of all the people who are there participating, giving forth their excitement and their adrenaline into this giant ritual they're doing. And in these rituals, they always tend to show us things that the average person may have a hard time understanding. So we're just going to talk about some of these things. So let's see, we might have someone that's joined us in the, I think we have Max. What's happening, brother Max? I am going to again be we need to turn off your camera, Max. I'm trying to see if I can turn. There we go. Okay, you got your camera turned off. All right. Max can join us, absolutely. My brother Max, how you doing, man? I haven't talked to you in a little while.
I'm doing all right. How's my audio?
Actually, pretty good so far. Pretty good so far.
Good.
Appreciate you joining us for this conversation. We're just getting ready to kind of
talk. How are you?
I'm doing great, brother. Doing very good. Max has actually been on the show before a couple of times, just so you guys know. And so, yeah, we're glad to have you join in. And again, anybody that's out there can join us. We've still got a few more spots to where y'all guys can find the link that's below the stream down there in the more button on YouTube, or you can type that link in on your browser and it'll bring you to the studio. You have to authenticate through YouTube or Facebook, but then it'll bring you right in and you can join us just like Max just did. So I was going to ask Roxy if you could kind of tell us what we're looking at here on the screen.
What you are looking at on that screen is a Sony PlayStation controller. It is a game controller. Your X, your O, your square, and your triangle.
Yep. And then there comes a point where they turn it into a checkerboard, if I happen to have that one there.
Yeah, a tic-tac-toe board.
They turn it into more of a tic-tac-toe board at one point, but it's still a game.
It's still a game.
And I know that, I don't know what all you've seen, but I know that they put up in the audience up here, they showed some things, saying some things like at the beginning of the halftime show, it said, want to play a game or something like that. Want to play a game. And it was lit up in the audience where everybody could see it. And it was kind kind of like this. Well, let's see. I think I got one of them here, like this.
Yep.
But this was at the end when it said game over. But in the beginning, it was up in the rafters here, and it said want to play a game. Then I know it said game over, and everybody fell down on the stage, like except for one group that was standing in a circle.
Yep.
They all fell down. Now let's call it theorizing here about some of the things that we're looking at here in these images.
Well, a little background on Kendrick Lamar. He is not just your average guy. He holds a Pulitzer Prize. He was the one that put this show together, and from what I understand, every single part of it was intentional.
Right.
It was very intentional, and it wasn't meant to be a cryptic kind of intentional. It was made so that everybody could see it and understand it.
Yeah, it's something I realized very recently in the last couple of days, and I mentioned this earlier before we started, and that is that they are pushing. It used to be where they tried to squash all conspiracy theories, and they tried to. They didn't want anybody talking about it. Now they've flipped the script, and they want everyone talking about one conspiracy or one hidden occult meaning of something or another, just like they did at this Super Bowl. It's happening though on TikTok. You got big TikTokers, you got big YouTubers that are all of a sudden now conspiracy theorists, and they're sharing maybe 80-90% truth, and then they're mixing in some deception and lies in it to still mislead the people in the wrong direction. That's
Absolutely.
definitely seeing that. Now, something else I noticed, and you're welcome to chime in too, Chris, but something else I noticed was the color of the outfits. There was, at one point, they made it look like an American flag that they were in the formation of. So you'd say, oh, red, white, and blue. Well, not quite. Red, white, and blue isn't exactly the colors that they were wearing. They were wearing white, which is the color of a white blood cell. They were wearing kind of like a burgundy-ish color that is a red blood cell. And then they were wearing an off blue. It was kind of like almost a purplish color that is the other color of a blood cell when it has to do with whether it's oxygenated. If it has oxygen, a lot of oxygen, or if it's been depleted of oxygen, you'll get the reddish, off red and off blue is what you'll get. And then, of course, the white blood cells. And Brother Dan actually pointed that out to me, so I give him credit for realizing that could be the meaning of the colors, because, again, we're theorizing as to what some of these meanings are that we're seeing in some of this occult stuff that they're doing, okay? Why do you think, Roxy, they used the PlayStation buttons and the game panel and then put up want to play a game? Why do you think they chose that?
Well, it's one of the most visibly recognizable game controllers. As far as, when you see that X, the O, the triangle, and the square, it's very evident as to what it is. There was no thinking about it, or it might be. I mean, it was very obvious, was part of the portion of this.
Yep, that was very obvious. Yep, as y'all guys can see them there.
They're one of the only controllers that has the X, the O, the square, and the triangle within it. It was to let you know that we're all being played. It's all a game.
Yeah. Now, we noticed too, looking at this middle area here that runs down between the controller area, it has, well, one thing, it has street lights. or the appearance of a street. And they are out in the street, walking, dancing, going up and down the street.
Mm-hmm.
And then we noticed that you see that there's street lights. But then Roxy pointed out to look a little closer at the street lights, of course, and you got to look very close at everything. She pointed out those are cameras. She's saying basically, well, tell them what you were saying about that, Roxy.
Everywhere you go, you're being watched. There is nowhere anymore that a camera is not watching you. So they're letting you know that no matter where you go playing this game, you are being watched.
You know, and they further confirm that if you'll notice, if you'll look, there is a person sitting on top of each street light. Okay, there's a human being sitting up there watching. So you can see them on the top of every pole. You can see,
which tells you that that's not some little flimsy pole that they put up there for just to look good on TV. I mean, that is supporting the weight of a human being sitting on top of that thing. It's a substantial pole. It's there for a reason, where it looks like a camera is on it. And if you'll look right there on the bottom right one, you'll see somebody in a blue outfit. That's Serena Williams. Bottom right is Serena Williams.
Bottom, oh yeah, over here.
Yep.
Right down there.
That's the tennis player, Serena Williams.
You can see her better in that one. Yep, that's Serena Williams, and she is the ex-girlfriend, you said, of
Drake.
Of Drake.
Of okay. Drake. The music artist Drake and Kendrick Lamar have had a argument or beef going on for quite some time, because Kendrick Lamar is not one that tends to keep his mouth shut about the horrible things that are going on in Hollywood. Now, part of the reason with this being a Sony PlayStation, Sony is the entertainment company which tends to sign a lot of these artists that have a questionable, we'll say, lifestyle with some of the things that we've seen. And he calls out in his song about Drake that Drake is evidently very attracted to minors. So when you go and look at the necklace around Kendrick Lamar's neck, it is an A minor.
Yeah, I'm going to show that actually here.
The song that he sings on here, Not Like Us, he was warned against singing this song at the Super Bowl. And so when he starts singing it, Uncle Sam, Samuel L. Jackson, basically says, "Are you really going to do it, man?" And he says, "Yep, here we go." And so he just outed it right on TV and called out the ones that are attracted to minors.
And you said his necklace is an A minor. It's a musical A minor.
Yep, it is a musical A minor. That is in reference to these people that are, what do you call them now? Minor attracted persons.
Yeah.
Pedophiles.
Yep, I think we can still get away with that word. And heck, they're the ones, they're literally pushing it to let everybody know that this is a thing. What was it we were saying earlier that was...
that chain around his neck is estimated probably worth $1 million because it's made out of just diamonds.
Right.
Even his jacket, I'm trying to look it up. The jacket says, that leather jacket he has on, that was a custom made jacket. And it says Gloria. I'm trying to remember what the meaning of the Gloria was. I looked this up the other day. But even the jacket has meaning. The black t-shirt he has on up under the jacket, when he took it off and he was walking away backstage, it says, "Keep him away from me." And he tells you in this song, which a lot of people, and even I, couldn't understand a lot of what he was rapping about because he speaks so fast. But he tells you in this that this is fixing to be a televised revolution. And there's a whole lot of red, white, and blue about the government in this halftime show.
So it's kind of like they're outing. I mean, you got, this is just the way I think. You got Trump, he's outing a lot of stuff, right?
Oh,
and
yeah. He's displaying it for everybody to see.
Right. And you got at the Super Bowl here, they're outing A minor attracted people, and they're exposing all these different things. Like there's got to be some, because I don't trust none of them. Okay.
No.
So there's got to be a reason, a purpose, a strategy behind this, as to what they're trying to accomplish out of causing people to say, yeah, they're A minor attracted, and tear those people down, tear this group down, tear this thing down. It's kind of like, it's obviously intentional, and you'd say, yeah, it's a good thing. You want to get rid of these A minor attracted people, and you want to get rid of overspending in the government. You want to get rid of all these things, and it sounds good on the surface. Sounds wonderful, right? But there's
Well,
a
lot of times when something becomes public and they want the public to make them think they're doing something about it, they just pick a couple of the big petals off the flower. The flower never stops growing.
Yeah, right. Kind of like they did with Epstein.
Yeah, we still haven't seen an Epstein list, but to my understanding, a couple of nights ago, Leonardo DiCaprio his house was raided and he was arrested in a foreign country because P. Diddy had a few people that were always with him and always circled around him. Leonardo DiCaprio, Kevin Hart, Drake.
Yeah, DiCaprio was on the names of people who had been flying on the
Epstein
Lolita Express airplane.
Yep.
That strangely enough, and y'all guys can pull this up and verify it if you don't believe what I'm getting ready to say, but strangely enough, when Trump was flying on his campaign missions, even when he flew into the one where they supposedly shot at his ear, he actually flew in there on the same exact airplane that was called the Lolita Express that Epstein used to own. Trump was flying around on it. They tried to play it off like he was renting it and they were just using it. And it was out of a fleet of airplanes. But I don't know if you know something or not, but there's a whole lot of airplanes. And the chances, these are just airplanes that are in the air right now at this moment. The chances of Trump ending up with that airplane and being flying in it, I mean, I'll let you figure the odds based on the map, what you're looking at as to the number of airplanes that are out there that could have been used.
Well, the only reason I can give to that is he's a smart businessman, regardless of what we think about him politically. And even like Mar-a-Lago, that was basically a property that the government owned. The government claimed they couldn't afford to keep up, so he bought it for pennies on the dollar. I mean, I see him as somebody that would buy an airplane on an auction, a repossession auction. So
that's an
interesting. Yeah, I don't think I would have been on that plane. Period.
You would think you would want to be associated with that, but I get what you're saying, and yeah, a deal's a deal, but there's got to be a lot of other deals out there. But of course, that plane specifically probably would have went really cheap. So with that said, we'll leave it at that. Looks like we have another guest that's wanting to come in. We have Chuck here. And Chuck, turn off your camera, my brother. Everybody has to turn their camera off. There you go. Chuck got it. All right, let's bring Chuck in and say hi to Chuck. Hey, Chuck,
hey,
welcome to the conversation, brother.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I've been trying to talk to you a couple of times, but it gets too bound up and then we just don't get together.
Yeah, it happens. But this is an opportunity. This is why I wanted to start doing this so that we could have more conversations and stuff. All
Sure.
of us. This is this channel and the website, the Supernatural Show concept is about the people and about the truth. So I'm glad you're here. If you or Chris have any thoughts that you want to share on the conversation matter that we're kind of talking about at the moment, or we're not going to ultimately probably figure out exactly what they meant exactly by the Super Bowl halftime show and everything we've talked about so far. But we can talk about that. We can talk about potentially anything, and also we might get into the orb and subject here in just a little bit as well, and look at some video footage of new videos that's coming out.
All right, Daniel, look right there to the left of where your mouse was. See the girl in the red outfit on the stage?
Yeah.
That's, I guess they pronounce her name Saza. It's SZA is her rapper name. That's actually Drake's other ex-girlfriend. So both of the females that were showed in this Super Bowl halftime show, besides Kendrick Lamar, were Drake's ex-girlfriends, because Kendrick and this girl have had some songs together that they've done.
Wow.
So, and I think this is one of the reasons Kendrick, because of these two females, probably has a more intimate knowledge of what some of these things that have gone on behind the scenes. And from my research of what I've seen of these people, it's all about power. When you get enough money that there's nothing you can buy to make yourself happy anymore. Everybody, when you get happy, you get a chemical reaction in your body. It's just like hugging someone or someone you're in love with. When they come in the room and you hug them or you're in their presence, you get a feeling, a good feeling. Or when you accomplish a task, your body creates a chemical, the happy chemical. Once you get enough money that you can go out and buy yachts and airplanes, you don't get that happy feeling off of those things anymore. So most people, I'm not going to say this is man or woman, but most people, once you get to a point that there's nothing you can obtain for yourself, that thrill and exhilaration of that chemical comes from power.
Yeah.
And holding power over another person is a lot of what these Drake and Diddy's are all about. It's all about power and leverage and blackmail.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Roxy.
And so once they get to a point where, that you can't have a normal interaction with another adult, so to speak, and we'll leave that there. We all kind of get the idea of what I'm saying, but they go to people that they can hold power over, that they can abuse. It causes that happy chemical for them. And it just gets out of control. It's kind of like Hitler. I mean, you're just hungry with power.
Yeah. Lamar having these two ex-girlfriends of Drake, which he's calling an A minor attractive person. It's interesting he has both of his ex-girlfriends here. It's like saying, I've got the inside story, kind of like in a way.
Well, and Cat Williams himself tells you in no uncertain terms what they do, because Cat doesn't care. I mean, he puts it all out there. He's the one that kind of busted the door wide open on this when it went public, which is kind of crazy, because I actually went to one of his shows about a year and a half ago, and there was a group of us that went, and about a month later, we were talking about it and sharing video. We were going to, like, oh, did you get this or did you get that? Because we were filming this show, little clips that were funny. And we realized that the whole group of us that were at the show, all of the photos and videos that were on our phone from that event are gone.
Oh, yeah. I remember you telling me something about that.
Yep. All 4 iPhones have been wiped. And this was pre-Diddy. And he was talking about it in his show. And some of the things he said in that show, that like the baby oil, he was talking about it in that show, but at that time we didn't know what he meant because he made a joke about it. And, it was kind of over our head, so to speak. But when we heard about the baby oil, that's what actually caused us to go back to our phone, because my best friend, she was like, "Oh, you remember that? He said something about it." And when we went back to get the film footage, all of our phones are empty. There's nothing. Cat Williams is gone. And my best friend, I actually fussed at her during the show because she was spending more time looking through the phone and she was enjoying the show. There's nothing.
Does make sense. They're the ones they're building these phones, these computers, and of course, a window like Windows is called a window because of multiple things. But one, it means you can see through both ways, and of course, Microsoft and these types of groups and people, they can see through both ways. If it's something you have on your computer or something you have on your phone, they can disappear it, or they can even put something on your phone that you didn't put there. That's so scary.
May I say something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Couple of things. Let's start with happiness. It's in our Bill of Rights, pursuit of happiness.
Right.
Okay. Let me tell you something about happiness. It can be taken away from you in a night. Trust me. I had all my happiness washed away in hell. What I discovered was that you don't chase your happiness. You chase your joy, because it can't be taken. What is your joy? That's the first thing you need to do. You need to stop chasing your happiness, because it's materialistic, period. And it can be washed away from you in a moment's notice, taken from you by this matrix, whereas your joy can never be taken. Mine is husbandry. Husbandry is caring for creatures lesser than you. I love caring for birds, raising animals. That's my joy. They can't take that from me.
I see
Number
your picture
two,
in your icon. I see your picture of Johnny on there.
Yeah, Johnny, man, I miss that dog. He was something else, buddy. That was an incredible thing that happened with my two dogs. It truly was. Johnny saved my life, and now Mr. Big is helping me heal. And Johnny didn't need to be here with me today because he was so rowdy. He would really tear up this trailer. And so God took the rowdy one from me and left me with one of the kindest, sweetest, big old dogs you ever met. Now, okay, that's your pursuit of happiness and joy. Second, talking about having your machines wiped. Okay, my first channel was big. I had a big channel. Actually, Daniel, they thought you and I were the same person. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yep, they actually thought that you and I we were one person running two channels. But I guess our voice, and we looked very similar before I lost all my hair with this cancer. Anyway,
we're gorgeous.
7 days after Trump took office, at 70 years, 7 months, 7 days old, 7 days after that, they took down my channel. I continually protested, and I finally got an email from them that had a CC. Now, I don't know what the CC was. I don't remember, because they wiped all my machines clean. They took my channel down and wiped all my machines clean of everything except for my private stuff, my pictures of my children they left alone, that kind of stuff. But they wiped all my machines clean. And 7 days after Trump took office, 70 years, 7 months, 7 days old, they took my channel down. I finally got an email from them that said, because I kept telling them, my files are not deleted. There's no such thing as deleting internet files. I want my files back through the channel. You can have the channel. It's your platform. I want my files back. I got an email that said they were sequestered. That's a military term. See, I am a builder. I built high rises, y'all. I was a superintendent, mechanical engineer on the Panther Stadium, Bobcat Arena, Hearst building Uptown Charlotte. I built Uptown Charlotte. So I know buildings can't fall down. And I have been after the 9/11 for Truth Committee like a hound dog. And it has cost me. I think I was targeted. I think my family was targeted. My son went crazy. My wife died of cancer, weird cancer. And then 2 months after she died of cancer, I see 6G on my phone for 3 days, and I end up with cancer 2 days later. Or 2 weeks later, 2 months later. And so, I mean, they are literally, according to, what's her name? Sabrina Wallace at Synergy. If you go to her, she's either on Rumble, BitChute, one of those. They are touching us through these towers and these units at the bone marrow level, y'all. They are doing it now. They've been doing it for 2 decades. We are so far behind the 8 ball, it's ridiculous. And we have watched Apollo take control of this world. He now has omnipresence. He has he's taken over. He has framed his territory.
Yeah, pretty much. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, and I'm telling you right now, I have had, like Daniel, he's had angels appear in front of him. I've had angels appear in front of me. My guardian angel has come to me during these times of tribulation that I've gone through, and it's been hell, y'all. My son returned to me on the astral plane one night. I could smell it. I knew he was there. And he told me he's not tormented, that he had repented in the tent that he died in. He died of alcoholism. My wife, she was going in and out of the astral plane the last 3 days she was there. And she told me, it's beautiful. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Everything. And she told me to quit crying. Be happy. I'm going to a better place. I've already seen our people. And that blew my mind, y'all. I'd already found God. You know, I found God when I came off of those opiates. I was a legal pharmaceutical junkie for about 10 years after my back surgery and elbow surgery. And that was pure T hell coming off of that. And that's when I found God. And then when my wife saw everything that happened to me, when I saw the blue Kachina, when I saw the great sign in heaven, September 23rd, 2017, then she watched all the tribulations I was going through and that our family was going through. She was like, oh my God, it's real. I'm like, yeah, baby. She was always we call it agnostic, and not a Gnostic, but an agnostic. And that means it's negative. So aboriginally actually means non-original. You have to understand any word that starts with a vowel is a negative. So watch yourself. Anyways, getting back to my wife. I'm praying for my son's sobriety off my front porch. My camera is pointed straight at the sky. I'm not looking at the sky. I'm looking at the ground praying. And I upload it without even looking at the video. And within minutes, I'm getting blasted. Phones blowing up, texts, comments. There's angels in the sky appearing while you're... And I go back and look. And sure enough, I take it in there to my wife, and 3 angels appear in the sky. She's like, oh, my God. I'm like, yeah. I said, I told you, baby, it's real. And then the next day I went into her, and she worked from home, and I was retired. I'd shut my company down. I said, baby, she said, I'm still, I said, let's try it again. She said, you're kidding me. I said, let's try it again. Come on. And we went out on the front porch, and I did the exact same thing, and 2 angels appeared in the sky. And she screamed and ran into her bedroom and slammed the door. I came in and knocked on her and said, baby, she was bawling. She said, it's okay, come on in. And I come in. She said, oh my God, God's real. You talking to God. I'm like, yeah, baby. He loves us.
Yeah. Hallelujah.
He loves us very much. And I've been through pure T hell, and I can tell you right now, I'm one of the most blessed men you've ever met. I am blessed to have people like Daniel on my side. Mama Rages, if I saw you in the chat room earlier, honey, you saved my life. I couldn't have done it without you, girl. And I don't want to talk about me anymore. I apologize. Let's get back to the Super Bowl. I didn't watch any of it. So the subject matter with me is that I quit watching it when I saw us. Oh gosh, it had to have been 8 or 10 years ago and I mean, it was bigger than Christmas at my house. Super Bowl was huge. I'd wake up, there'd be 10 people in my living room already ready to go. And yeah. So when I cut that off, all my friends left. I didn't have any friends left. But I said, I'm not watching that anymore. I vibrated differently, I guess. I lost all my friends, and now I've lost all my family, and I lost my house. But I am blessed. I'm so blessed. I found God through all of it. I know I'm an immortal soul, and I'm going to be with people like you, Daniel, and like Mama Rages on the other side. I'm not going to be with people like that, those gold tooth weirdos that we see on TV. I'm not going to be near them. I know that. I'll be with y'all.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry. That's my testimony.
Yeah, and me and Chris have known each other for, I say Chris, he goes by Max most of the time, but we've known each other for several years, and yeah, he's
going on a decade now.
He's been tested, and all the tests he's been through, and then that hurricane that hit North Carolina, almost washed his house completely away. It destroyed everything that was outside. It destroyed the lower level of the house with water infiltration and washed half of its foundation away. Destroyed his car, I can't remember what it was.
It was the 66 Mercury I was rebuilding.
66 Mercury. It got destroyed. And then,
believe it or not, now that's a great one, Daniel. Think about this. Right after I saw the Blue Katina, I'm looking through just Facebook Marketplace, and 2.5 miles from me was a 1966 Mercury Caliente red iron oxide Comet by Mercury. I'm like, oh my God, that's Nibiru. So I had to go buy the damn car, and I've been rebuilding it, and it washed away.
Yeah.
Caliente Comet. A red iron oxide Mercury Caliente Comet. Caliente means hot. I'm like, oh my God. I got to go get that car. Yeah, I drove it for about 2 years as my everyday driver before I started rebuilding the electric.
Right. Well, let's check in. We haven't given Chuck a chance to kind of talk. I know he probably got a couple of things on his mind. And if not,
that's story, Chuck.
You don't have to talk if there ain't nothing specific that you don't want to talk about, but you're welcome to. And you got anything on your mind you wanted to discuss, Chuck?
Well, Dan, I'll say as far as the happiness issue, I've always felt that you're never happy with more until you're happy with what you have.
Yeah.
And so I gave up everything. I live in Northwoods of Wisconsin. I live in a trailer. And we're going to see 20 below tomorrow night, but, we'll make it. I got 2 dogs and a cat, and it ain't the first time. So that's where I'm at with that.
I'll share a quick story. It's related to what you were just saying about happiness. I used to make. I was a real estate agent, a real estate investor, a real estate developer, and I was making about $20,000 to $40,000 a month every month for many years. And I grew up here in South Carolina, literally on the edge of a swamp in a single wide trailer house, dirt poor. But then I went and I accomplished the things that they told me would make me happy. And I went and made all this money. And then I found myself sitting in my $500,000 house, 10-foot ceilings, granite countertops, an island in the kitchen that was as big as most people's kitchens. And I was standing out on the patio, and I was looking up at the stars in the heavens, and I would do this repeatedly. I'd go out there and I'd say, God, why is it that I have everything but happiness? Why am I not happy? I've achieved everything this world has to offer, almost more than I ever thought I would. I said, why? And then one night I went out there, I said, God, can you please help me and show me how to be happy and why I'm not happy? Immediately over the next year to 2 years, I lost everything I had and found myself homeless, sleeping in a van, an old cargo van that everybody thought I was a creeper or something. And I literally went from making 20, sometimes as much as $80,000 a month, to having nothing. The system turned on me, took everything I had and destroyed it. But yet I had prayed for to be shown how to be happy. And what it came down to for me, Chuck, was giving up everything and realizing that you don't need material things, kind of like all of you were saying. You don't need the material things to be happy. And happy is something people chase, but peace is actually something that is achievable. And like Roxy was saying, you can chase all this money and you can make all this money. But when you do get there, you're still going to be no different than you were when you started. You're still not going to be happy. And if you run up against it, we have all the money you could ever spend, which was about where I was at. And none of it meant anything. The only thing that really meant something was that when I went homeless and then started working my way back out of it and literally started doing this work while I was homeless, I realized I was happy and I was proud of who I was and what I was doing, which is this work I'm still doing today. I'm proud to tell the truth. I'm proud that I know that I can look at myself in the mirror and know that I've tried to do good things. And so I got peace. And I think that's pretty much my story, Chuck.
Yeah, through the years I've been watching and listening to you, and our stories are somewhat similar, only you were a little higher level. I was involved in, my brother took me into the limousine business in Chicago area, and I started driving, and within a few years I owned and operated several cars, had many people several drivers working for me. And, it's just, the other way I feel is the more things you have, the more your things have you.
Yeah.
Or own you. So I decided that, I was going to give that all up. I moved to Milwaukee, to where my parents were living, suburbs out in the country, kind of, and started doing buying and selling goods at flea markets and such. And I had a big thing going, and next thing you knew, I had 40 by 40 storage units full of stuff, and I just one day shut the doors, walked away, and moved up here.
I did the exact same thing. When I was sleeping in the van, I started going out. The reason I had the van, because I started going out and buying and selling stuff that I would buy at estate sales, and I put it in a 220 by 40 storage units, and would clean up, touch up the stuff, whatever, and resell it. And I was literally surviving by doing that while I was living in my van.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I'm doing it now, but I'm much lower level. Instead of looking for goods here and there, I'm buying storage units. But the biggest thing with that, and like I say, I'm just started. I got like 6 of them that I bought so far. But the biggest thing with that is you can't let it get overwhelming. You got to throw things away to keep your storage costs down. You got to sell things as cheap as possible, to where you're still going to make a few bucks, but not have to pay to store it, And I'm a little leery of getting back into it because I don't want it to take over my life. But
yeah, that's why I got back into real estate.
But I had a heart valve replaced, and I had to really take it easy for a while this last couple of years. And now I'm starting to be able to get to do things again. So I thought that would be good extra cash for me.
Right.
And working out so far, but being so cold up here, it's hard to work with anything.
Right. Yeah. When it's cold outside, it's hard to go out and do anything really.
Yeah, ain't no doubt about it.
Well, you guys say we take a look at a few few videos that have come out in the last day or 2 or 3 days that are of people filming things in the heavens. Would y'all guys be up to doing that a little bit before, while we still got a little show left?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then we can all talk about it a little bit. Not sure what we're going to see. I've got the search. All I did was plug in the word orb. Although on TikTok, they use another word for orb, which is like they call it Dior bag or Oscar bag. And they're referring to an orb or a drone because supposedly on TikTok, they were not, when you would run a search for orb, people weren't finding much results. Huh? Okay, I thought somebody said something. So we're just going to kind of just scroll through and just look and see what's out there. Because what it is I do this every day because I'm looking for specific videos. I'm looking for angel interventions or really good photos, or not photos, but video of angels, or interesting things that I might want to throw in my editor and bring to you guys. So I thought, well, heck, I'm already doing this. So why don't I just do it with y'all guys instead of doing it all by myself? Let's see here. And again, on TikTok, you're going to run into stuff that is AI. You're going to run into stuff that is just fake, but you're going to run into some stuff that's real footage. And so we'll try to discern as we go, which is what, you might say. So I'm going to move over to this top page right here, if it'll click on it, because I'm not sure if it's going to. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't. Anyways, let's just click on the first video. This is a short one, I can tell you already. All it is somebody driving down the road and they see, I need to share my screen so y'all guys can see.
Yeah, we can't see you.
Yeah, somebody let me know when I'm being an idiot.
Well, I was going to give you a minute before I called you out.
Yeah, and you're definitely somebody, we know each other well enough. You have to call me out and let me know I'm being an idiot. So yeah, this was just, let me replay it again. What it is basically, it's a large group of orbs, what people call orbs a lot of times. It's there were some that were photographed in a large group like this recently in Conway, South Carolina, which is the town I grew up in, a town not too far from where Roxy lives too. And
I'm actually in Conway now, back home.
Oh, you are? Okay.
I'm about 6 miles from the old home place.
Oh, really? Okay. And then there was also these seen in Aner, South Carolina recently, a large, we'll call it armada. And I've seen large groups of them before, but I don't think I've seen any in that kind of a large group like that. Normally when they come to me, and because they come directly to me right in front of me on the beach and in the mountains, but really close on the beach, over 50 times at the beach. And but they come a lot closer than this. They'll be anywhere from 20 foot to 100 yards from me when they come to me on the water. So, but let's see what's the next video. From February 11th. Let me pause it. This was filmed today, February 11th, 2024. An individual with the ability to summon these orbs met with a professional photographer at South Downs National Park. More photos and videos are expected to be released soon. So apparently they're getting someone that's communicating, that's saying they're communicating with the orbs, and a photographer to try to take photos and video. So we'll let it play here. It's not very big because of the way they've got it formatted, but we'll look at what we got. See, to me, that looks metallic. And I'll play it some more here in a second, but that looks metallic. I've never seen one look metallic.
We don't see it.
Huh?
We don't see it.
You what?
I don't see anything.
Yeah, the play button's in
Or
the way.
didn't you play it yet? You didn't play it yet. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of small. It's kind of hard to see, and with the way they formatted this, and the fact that we're looking at TikTok.
A quick note: that is not an orb. That is an observation vehicle operated by one of those 3-letter agencies.
That would be my suspicion as well. That looks metallic. It looks
Supported by helium.
maybe,
Yeah,
or put it this way.
there's another substance that they power them with, and it's not helium, but a little bit of heat and a little bit of centrifugal force, and you can defy gravity.
In nature, the way that most of the inventions around the world, the greatest inventions, the way they do it is they do it by studying nature or studying something that exists, that's real. Maybe it's an angel, and they, I'm sure, have studied them as best they can. But what they do is they duplicate things they find in nature, whether it be natural or supernatural. They will duplicate it using technology, like they got the robo dogs, right? Well, there's such thing as a real dog, and it's similar and has attributes similarly in a lot of ways. But when they do it, they're doing it for a purpose when they build these things. And it makes me wonder, when you look at these like this, that looks like a metallic orb, makes me think they've engineered something that maybe can appear to look like an angel or something in the sky, but it's not. This is likely something that's man-made that has the ability to defy gravity, you might say. And the way you would defy gravity easily enough is to create your own spin, like your own toroidal spin. And just like a tornado, see, a tornado defies gravity. When a tornado's spinning and it comes down and it gets close to the ground, what you think it's blowing cows, or you think it's blowing a train off the tracks and throwing it through the woods. What it's doing is it's levitating it, because the spin of a vortex creates its own gravitational area, its own gravitational environment. And if you look that up, you'll find out that even the scientists agree that what I'm saying about tornadoes is what they say too. It creates and can lift objects by changing. These objects go from having what we call gravity holding them down, or density holding them down, to having a different environment produced by something that is spinning, a tornado that's spinning and creating its own gravitational thing. So it isn't too hard for me to imagine how they would build something like this.
Did anybody ever go in a ride as a child at a theme park called the Gravitron? It looked like a spaceship. You went inside of it and it went spinning, and it would suck you to the wall, and the little thing would slide up.
I have. I imagine everybody has.
Well, if you take that same theory and put it in a metal ball and make it spin, and there's some fluids that you can put in it, which has been told to us that they're poisonous and dangerous and we shouldn't touch them. Well, one of the first things when they tell you that, that's just because they don't want you to touch it and play with it, because you might figure out what it is. but they can take one of those substances inside of a metallic ball, which will absorb the heat from the sun, and it becomes anti-gravity.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. All you got to do is, again, study nature. You study, okay, how is a tornado lifting trains off the tracks or cows up in the air and throwing them, because it's a real thing. And is it the wind or is there something else going on? So what they do is they study the something else. And then they're able to produce these kinds of crafts, like the giant triangle craft that you've seen, I've seen, Miss Kim's seen, my brother Johnny has seen.
That thing was large enough that my daughter and her children ran inside the house. It actually scared her, and she's a cop. I mean, it concerned her.
Yep, it's freaky. This
I
might
have a
be
TR3B story, if you want to hear it. One night when a TR3B pulled over top of us. TR3B is a black triangle.
Yep.
I'm laying on a blanket beside the river with Amanda, and we've had a wonderful night. We're staring at the sky, beautiful, beautiful summer night by the river, and this black triangle pulls up over top of us. I didn't say a word. I'm like, oh, man. And then it drops a globule of what looked like liquid light out of the center of it, and it spun and took off. Then it dropped two. They spun and spun around one another, took off in different directions. Then three dropped out, did the same thing, and I kind of rolled over. I said, "Man, are you seeing what I'm seeing?" He stood up without a word, yanked the blackie out from underneath me, and said, "I want to go home." That was my first experience with the TR3B.
What
the
was
next
it?
morning, when I dropped her off at her house, we turned around and they had that low layer, that silver layer laying right on top of us. I look up, there's that triangle right there at the bottom of the gray, fake sky, plasma sky, positive ion. And I say, "Look, Amanda," she turned, "Oh my God, they're following me." I said, "No, honey, they're not following you. They're following me. It's okay." And she would not talk to me after that. That was it. That was it. Done. And we lost her last year's alcoholism. I swear, I bought over a dozen people alcoholism.
Wow. Yeah, the TR, that's amazing. You've seen one too, Chris. I think I remember you saying something about that one time before when we were talking. But yeah, it's a trip. Did we just lose Roxy? I think we did. She'll probably be back in a minute. She's got the ability to bring herself back in. All right, so we'll just continue on here with looking at a few more videos.
What makes nuclear weapons so ridiculous? A TR3B can be over the target anywhere in the world within 15 seconds. So there is no threat to supersonic, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Baloney. Shut up. Turning people to white dust. They're turning stainless steel to white dust in house fires. Oh, wow.
Yeah, they managed to vaporize some towers up in New York City, turned it to dust, and they did that with energy as well. All you got to do is get the right resonance going, the right frequency with enough amperage behind it, and you can dustify steel or aluminum or a lot of things like that. So it's called, they call it magic.
I call it the Hutchinson effect.
Yeah, that's another excellent name for it, because I remember when Hutchinson demonstrated that, as a matter of fact. And
exactly what he did.
Yeah,
everything that the towers did, he showed us it before it happened.
Yep, he sure did. He just strangely enough, he just recently come out with a new a new YouTube channel, and Hutchinson has always played the crazy man, so that he's got plausible deniability for his knowledge that he does have. But man, he's really got the crazy turned up now. He was dressed as a street prostitute, basically, in his videos, where he's demonstrating in his lab that has all this crazy looking equipment, and he's demonstrating amazing stuff while dressed as a street prostitute, as a woman. But he's a man, and he's not a pretty man. Of course, I'm uglier than him, but he's not a pretty man to be dressing up like a street prostitute. But he's doing that.
That inverts back to the first thing you said. Obviously, he's not a Christian man, and he is dealing with magic to be able to perform or to reproduce what the government is performing. He's got to be dealing with entities to do what he does.
He's definitely performing magic, that's for sure. I'll agree with you there for sure, because it's beyond. He's able to do things that are beyond natural. As he goes into the supernatural realm, like what they did, making buildings that were 100 stories tall fall down in their own footprints. Things like that.
Yeah, he's taken a lot of government contract type equipment and performs his miracles with that. And you can't just sit down and figure that stuff out. You got to be getting some kind of help. You know what I mean?
I don't know Hutchinson's background as to. I don't know enough about him, but I know what you mean. Absolutely.
Yeah. Without a doubt, it's nice to see what he's doing, and kind of confirms what the government did, but that still don't make it right or righteous, or he's still dabbling with the demons.
Yeah, likely so. This was supposed to be a video that was taken during the Super Bowl down New Orleans. I don't know if those look kind of like aircrafts, but it's hard to say. I tend to look for, when I'm going through searching new videos on the different platforms, I'm looking for like intervention kind of stuff, where y'all guys have seen the ones that I've chose to put up were like drones being downed by angel orbs, and people shooting at them and stuff, and the bullets vaporize when they even get close to them. It's I'm looking for that kind of stuff, but you kind of have to look through all of this stuff when you're going through, looking for things to share with people. And here we got the alien guy. We ain't gonna listen to him today. Pretty wild. It's amazing the things that are literally going on in this realm right now. And I know that it's going to get crazier, because that's their intent, is to bring absolute chaos. But what they're trying,
I saw somebody in the comments a while ago. I've lost the comment. Said that they were seeing a glittery substance fall from the sky. I think maybe it was Kentucky.
A glittery substance fall from the sky in Kentucky.
Yeah, I can't remember because I got kicked out, so I've lost all of the previous comments. Somebody in the audience was commenting.
I can look back, see if I see anything.
The glittery substance in the sky is one of the things that can be used for holographic projection.
Yeah.
So be careful if you're seeing that, what you're seeing above your head, and question as to what you're seeing. I don't know if everybody knows about the big glitter shortage, but they wouldn't tell who was buying all the glitter, but we're pretty sure we know. It's probably one of those 3 letters.
I don't know, but if the person's still here that made that comment that she's talking about, maybe pop that comment in again.
It was back toward the beginning. I can't remember. Said that they had been.
Because this person right here.
I'm not sure.
As it's called Jesus is Coming. She says it looked like ice. And this person is a moderator for the channel, so thank you for doing that as well.
Yeah, it'll almost look like dust, but up under a microscope for further inspection, you'll see that it's glitter.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that glitter, they put it out for holographic projection.
Yeah, they use it in wartime, and in many ways, it's when you can do a whole lot of things with it.
Yeah, and sadly, what our reality of what our government or anybody else, there you go, our perception of what the current technology is probably 100 years behind what we actually have.
I'd say that just now was AI kind of stuff. Those flash giant orbs. I'd say that one was man-made.
You think hundreds or you think thousands of years?
It could be, but I know it's at least 100 years. I mean,
So fact,
I think all they're doing is bringing back ancient technology.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I see a gentleman named Fax has joined us, but he needs to turn his camera off. Just push the button on your controller there where you can turn your camera off. If you would, Fax, and then I'll add you to the stage. He's working on it.
We've got some pretty funky snow up here too. It's not flakes, it's like pellets. And I think the flakes are getting distorted because of particles that they're putting in the air.
Yeah, we had a rare snowstorm here a few weeks ago, and we had 3 days of 60-degree plus weather, and on the side of the roads there was still snow there.
Yeah, that's the other thing people are saying is it's slow melting. I put a white dish out there while it was snowing, and I let it melt, and I had all kinds of tiny black particles in it.
In fact, you got to turn your camera back off, brother. I think he's just having a hard time. He's not trying to be difficult. I just think he's getting used to the interface, and I understand that. But fact, once you turn your camera back off, I'll bring you back on stage. All right. Yeah, we had something weird happen too. Welcome to the stage, Facts. We had something weird happen too the other day when it snowed. And it was weird because all I did was pour some coffee out on the snow. Facts, you have to leave your camera off, brother. That's one of the rules of this is cameras off. Because I don't want anybody accidentally showing their butt, if you know what I'm saying. All right. So every time I put you on stage, Facts, you keep turning your camera back on. All right. You're going to try us again a little bit later, Facts, when you get that worked out, brother. I don't mind you coming back, but you have to leave your camera off, and I'll put you on stage 3 times, and you turn it back on. It's probably just an accident, but get that worked out, brother, and you can come back and talk to us sometime, okay? Okay, what were we talking about here? Oh, yeah, the grass. So I had coffee, and I threw coffee out on the snow. When the snow melted, what was left behind, it was just extremely strange looking. It looked like a spider web. Yeah, it formed itself because the coffee just kind of like spilled in a straight line, like when you just chunk coffee out. It kind of makes a line. But in this case, it looked like a spider web. It was weird looking, and I don't know. Somehow that's normal when you throw coffee on snow, that it turns into a spider web when the when the snow melts. But yeah, that did happen. It was pretty weird. Pretty weird. I'm still scanning through some of the videos that people are putting up. Because like I say, I do this all the time, just seeing what people are doing. But
what amazes me now is how many people have actually started looking up.
Oh man, big time. I've been talking about the angels and the orbs for over a decade, literally right at 15 years, and tell them these things are coming, they're here, they're around, they blah, blah, blah. Nobody would pay me attention. I was the crazy guy. And all of a sudden now, I ain't so crazy anymore. And now everybody's looking up and recording them and all this stuff. Let's see, looks like we got Jason Brain, I think maybe is how you pronounce it. Jason Brain, that wants to join us here for a minute. So let's bring Jason onto the stage with us. I appreciate you having your camera off, Jason. Please leave your camera off. If you turn your camera on, you'll be removed from the stage.
All right. Can you hear me now?
Hey, Jason. Yeah, we can hear you now, buddy.
Amazing. So in the private chat, I just sent you a YouTube video of a guy. He turned on his infrared camera and shot it at the sky overnight. And,
Okay. Infrared. Yep.
Yeah, I thought you might enjoy seeing that one.
You sent it in the chat, you said?
Yeah, in the StreamYard private chat.
Oh, in the gotcha. Okay.
My messages might not come through on the regular chat unless you say all chat messages.
If your roof is old, damaged, or leaking, you can get a new roof.
Got an ad trying to run me over here. Go ahead, finish what you were saying there.
My chat messages might not be showing up in the group chat because I post links sometimes, and I guess YouTube might think I'm a spammer. So that's what
well, I got that private message from you. This is the video you're referring to.
You got
it.
They look like motorboats in the ocean.
Yeah, I'll play it here. What we're looking at is footage that's sped up.
Yeah.
But what it's doing is it's demonstrating all the things that are flying around in the skies. And there are actually a number of things flying in the skies at nighttime that will produce this kind of look here. Okay. And I'll explain the two that I'm aware of. The ones that you see typically streaking straight forward and not stopping, not turning, typically those will be a satellite of some type or the Starlink. But then there are other things as well that will stand out on some of these videos. I haven't seen this one, so I can't speak to this one exactly. But let me put it like this. I've had personal experience with angels manifesting right in front of me, anywhere from 20 feet to 100 yards. That's the majority of them fall into that category. Some would manifest it maybe a mile away. Okay. They'd be over the next mountaintop sometimes when I was down in New Mexico. But when I come to South Carolina and I started going to the beach looking for them, sometimes they would show up right in front of me, 20 foot away, right over the water, just this massive ball of light. Sometimes they would show me some of the things they could do. But one thing they don't normally do is fly continuous. This is only from my experience. I can't say this is an absolute rule. But one thing they do not normally do is fly consistently for long distances and leave their light shining. Now, they may do that, but I haven't witnessed it, and I happen to be someone, for whatever reason that I don't understand, that has witnessed a lot of angels that come to me. Miss Kim has seen them when we would go to the beach. Let's go to the beach and look at angels. We go down there, and as many as 8 of them will appear right in a line, sometimes right in front of us. We're standing on the sand, and they will appear right over the water, just about where the waves are turning, or a little bit further back. They'll appear right there. Sometimes 1, sometimes 8, sometimes in a straight line, sometimes in another kind of a pattern. Sometimes they'd be a little higher. One time, one flew from behind me. When I was standing there looking up, flew from behind me, struck over my head about 20 foot above me, and left what looked like pixie dust floating down around me. Another time, one appeared about 20 foot out over the water. Me standing on the beach in the same exact spot. And it appeared, it was only there for about a second or two, and it started to fade. But right when it started to fade, a lightning bolt came out of it and struck the ocean. It was only about 20 foot above the ocean, and it wasn't an arc that caused a rap of thunder. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear anything other than the waves turning like normal. But I did see that. I call these attributes of something, like of these things. The attributes I've seen, like I've been describing. But the reason why I'm describing this is so when we're looking at this video footage here, you know, they're highly likely some of this activity may be angels, but I've just never seen actual angels streak for long distances without changing direction somehow. That don't mean that these aren't some of those and angels, because it could be. But I do know a while back I was spending quite a bit of time trying to understand what I was seeing, because right around the middle of December, I started seeing every night. I started seeing these what looked like almost like angels coming up from the horizon and coming towards me, and then right as they would get almost straight above me, they would all disappear. Every one of them, they'd be about 5-7 minutes apart, and I'd see another one coming, kind of like if I slowed this video down, they would slow down, and there would be only one every so many minutes that you would see in this footage. Well, I would see them coming every night. I'm like, is this angels? What am I seeing? What I realized is that I went in and pulled up a Starlink live map that shows where all the satellites are at. And when I would see one out there, I would come in and look at the map, and there would be one right in my vicinity above my head. What I realized is that it was because of the refraction angle of the sun, because it was in the middle of the winter, that the refraction was allowing me to be able to see a reflection off of the solar panels that are on the Starlink satellites, and it was creating this light that I was seeing coming towards me. And why they were disappearing straight above my head every time was because of the angle that we were currently at, that the sun was at, and that I was at, because the satellite was high enough in the sky to still be in the sunlight. But I was down on the ground, and it had just gotten dark about an hour ago. So what I'm trying to do is explain what I know as best I can. And with that, I'll be quiet for a second and let some of y'all guys talk. Fax is back. Okay, well, we'll let Fax in. I don't have no problem with Fax. So we'll let Fax on the stage with us too. Hey, Fax, sorry about the problems earlier, but it looks like you might have got your camera situation straightened out. So welcome to the stage, brother.
Yeah.
And Jason is.
Thank you, brother. But yeah, sorry about the camera.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, I just had a bit of technical difficulties.
It's all a little new. And just so you guys know, the links that you clicked on to come here, if you bookmark those links, you'll be able to use those again in the future. The link to come into the studio when I'm live and doing this kind of show will be the same. So if you bookmark it, you'll be able to join again in the future for this specific kind of show. It won't work for when I'm live doing a different kind of show, but if I'm doing an open panel show, the link that you're used to come in here now will be the same link in the future. Trying to make it easier for y'all guys to be able to hop in every now and then, so we can all get to know each other a little bit. So how are you doing tonight, Fax?
Appreciate that. Yeah, I can't complain. I mean, it's up, down.
I like your accent. Where are you watching from?
For me, it just gets really a little bit
South London, Lewisham, United Kingdom.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, you're welcome to share thoughts with us
People,
if you like.
and yeah, like it breaks my heart to see good people, doing jobs, giving their energy to certain things, and they're getting exploited. And then it's like things I used to when I was in the Matrix and doing regular stuff. Like for example, like my ideal car or ideal woman or ideal holiday, none of that matters to me anymore. Like I look at it and it disgusts me, and I feel like embarrassed and a bit ashamed that people have fallen for it. I fell for it. I was the worst for it back, when I was a regular person doing day-to-day life stuff. And it's like, so when I go out now and I look around and everyone's still doing it, it's like I just feel a bit isolated sometimes. That's what I'm sort of trying to say in a long roundabout way.
Well, trust me, I can relate. And that's part of the reason why I'm doing this show like this, to give us a voice.
Yes.
Guys like you.
I've been searching. Thank you. Is it Chris, your name? Sorry, is it Chris, your name?
I think he's Max. He goes by Chris or Max. My name's
yourself. Like I don't know your name.
Oh, it's Daniel.
Daniel. So, thank you, Daniel. Yeah, so I've searched the internet, and all I've come across is trolls and people that have doxed me, cyberbullied me when I first come onto the internet. It's really difficult to find like-minded people.
I think you found your people.
Yes, I'm smiling. I'm actually smiling. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's going to be, we don't do any bullying. What we try to have is logical conversation about subjects that matter. And, we try not to spend time talking about, we really don't even talk about politics. I mean, we'll talk about how they're manipulating us, and they're all crooks and devil worshippers maybe, but we're not going to talk about, the average thing that the average people are talking out there, because I can't talk to those people. I'm like you, I'm isolated amongst the average person. When that's out there, you just can't have a real conversation.
And that goes through the line, Daniel, like sports, pubs, nightclubs, restaurants. It's like I've got nothing in common with these people anymore. They want to talk, as you say, about the local politics, the local news article, or whatever it may be. And that's what breaks my heart, because like they're good people. Like, because I've got to be honest, like I was one of them once upon a time. Like I had a regular job, I read the newspaper, I believed most of the. Well, I just didn't pay any attention to it. I didn't have time to. I was just work, just in the rat race, and yeah. So now it's very difficult. Like I heard another content creator say, you have to give these people like 99% leeway. You can't even meet them halfway, because they just argue, or like the same answers they all come out with, which amazes me that people from all over the earth that have never met each other come out with exactly the same answers. Like, how does it affect me? What does it matter? And so on and so on.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. And I want to say hi to Elizabeth, who's joined us as well. Elizabeth, you're welcome to join in on the conversation. I did want to say, Facts, I noticed your icon that's coming either from your YouTube channel or your Facebook, one of the two. It looks like a toroidal image, and that's a very interesting conversation. Matter of fact, we were talking a little bit about that earlier in some ways, because of how that the torus is so important to in order to be able to understand what this world even is.
That's
Like
right.
I spell the word world like you say. Well, we live in a big world. I spell it WHIRLED, world.
Yeah. I just wanted to welcome Elizabeth as well. Sorry, I didn't mean to like hog the panel, but yeah, it's a tetrahedron. It just caught my attention going through Google Images, and then I looked into what tetrahedron is, and it means so much. But it's like the Fibonacci sequence is in there, the Saturn rings are in there, DNA building blocks of life are in there. It's a powerful symbol.
And also, if you want to understand what image the angels are in, when you see that light, when we talk about the orbs, and I talk about them being angels, if you want to understand what they're actually in and what they look like, you have to understand what Fax is talking about. They actually exist inside of the same image of what we exist in. They exist in a toroidal field. So when you see that light, and Enoch and Ezekiel called it a wheel within a wheel, and it's the spinning motion that exists with a wheel within a wheel, which is a toroidal type image or attribute, you might say. So
like the two ends of a magnet, like coming out, like
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, let's check in with Elizabeth real quick and see if she has something she would like to share. And Elizabeth is going to be the last guest we're going to be accepting today. We will be doing this again very soon. I'm really enjoying the way it's going today. So we will definitely be doing this quite a bit more because I like talking to y'all guys and giving us all a voice and allowing us to be able to talk to people who know how to, that have intelligence, have a heart in them. They're not wanting to beat on somebody because they disagree, or like there's so many channels you can go on and you'll just get attacked. I mean, they just come after you. You're an idiot. And they're calling you every name in the book just because they disagree with your opinion. But on here, we can disagree and be complete opposites and still be friends, as long as we're not trying to not be friends. So with that, Elizabeth, how are you doing today, darling? You'll have to unmute your mic to be able to talk, or I can do it for you if you want. Let me see. Maybe I can help her. Nope, she's got it muted. So, Elizabeth, if you decide you want to talk, you don't have to right this second because you might be nervous. I understand that. But if you decide you want to talk, you'll have to unmute your own mic, darling. I like your name.
I may?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Talking about toroidal fields. We have the North Pole, right? The Polaris.
Uh-huh.
Okay. When we go to the Southern Hemisphere, we have the Southern Cross, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, when you time lapse the Southern Cross, it makes the infinity sign. That's the plane of inertia. That's not the Southern Pole. Where is the Southern Pole? My theory is it's on the other side. It's above the other side of this disk, and it's opposite, as above, so below, but yet opposite, which means it's probably insectoid, reptoid dominant, whereas here it's mammalian dominant. Now, did I just say I'm a flat earther? I guess, yeah. It makes sense to me. When you have toroidal field, when you have the Birkeland currents, you got 4 coming from the North Pole, 4 coming from the South Pole. They're all spinning in different directions, and when they clash, they've proven in the Star in a Jar that it makes plasma. Well, plasma is the first state of matter. And if it's spinning, you have centrifugal force. which slings it to the outside of the Florida field. And then if it's up against really cold salt water, which we know is just space, it says it right there in the Bible, the water, and it's salt water. So what do you make when you spin materials around salt water? Well, you make ice cream. Would that not make the ice ring that we know is there? I mean, how many times have they tried to go around Antarctica and they end up 15 degrees north? Or if they're going the other way, 15 degrees, whatever. Yeah. So they're full of shit. So am I a flat earther? Yeah, I guess I am. But I know that the plane of inertia is not the southern pole. So where's the southern pole? It's got to be on the other side. It's the only way I can. And we know the Hopis tell us that the ant people, that's what Anunnaki means in Hopi, came up out of the ground, not from the sky. So is the earth hollow? Well, it's definitely channeled out. We know that. And what Phil Schneider told us, they had, nuclear power where they just plasma. Just boom, shoot plasma out of it. They don't have to drill. It's not grinding. Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah, I think there's
That's my theory.
a lot to what you're saying there, Max. I know that, put it this way, if NASA tells me something, I know it's a lie.
Yeah, well, that's what is it? That's the principle of the opposite principle. But I'm the same way. If I hear something on the news, I look the other way. I turn around and look because the danger's coming from the other direction.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, every time. Well, that's because it's Lucifer's realm. I mean, he could stand there in front of God, incarnate, in a material body and say, "I'll give you that place if you bow to me." And God said, "No." Well, God's blessed. And he told me just bow.
You're breaking up there a little bit, Max.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I think your connection's not working very well at the moment.
Elizabeth said her mic's not working.
Elizabeth is saying her mic is not working. There should be an unmute. There should be some kind of there's definitely an unmute button there because everybody here had to unmute themselves. Now, why your mic itself might not be working, I'm not sure. But I should be happy to let you speak if we could. However, guys, we're coming up on 2 hours of live here. And so we are going to go ahead and wrap up the show for today. Now, if y'all guys will bookmark that link that you used to come here today, when you see that I'm doing a open panel again, you're going to be able to click that link and come right and hang out with the rest of us, okay? So bookmark it. I've enjoyed speaking to everyone who's here today, and I greatly appreciate all of y'all guys being here. And thank you, Roxy, for helping us out today in the studio as well.
Enjoyed it. Glad to meet everybody.
Yeah. And thank you, Brother Max. I appreciate you. And I love you, my brother. Elizabeth, sorry you couldn't figure your mic out there. But try again next time, and hopefully we can get it done. And thank you as well, Chuck, for being here today, brother. And book that thing so we can get the chance to talk some more. I did enjoy what we had to talk about. So
I need to talk to you about the fires.
Say again, Chuck.
I need to talk to you about the fires. I believe everything that you come up with is very plausible, but also I'd like to add to your thoughts is that they might be reversing the polarity on the smart meters. It's going to send pure ground to ground. I mean, pure power to ground, which could start frying everything. Something to think about in the mix there of all that. But thanks for having me on. I really enjoyed it.
I'll throw something in there with you about that. Something I realized with the Paradise Fire in California, when I studied all the anything that was grounded, like the light poles that had a ground wire that run down into the ground, and any house that had a ground wire It ran down into the ground. What they were doing, they figured out how to surge the electricity through what's called a terrestrial standing band wave of energy. They figured out how to surge it underground, and anything that has a grounding wire to protect you from electricity would work in the opposite and burn your house down from the inside out. And that's one of the ways that they did that they're doing right now. Some of the fires in California and other places around the world. The grounding wire that you've got running off of your smart meter and running into the ground can be energized to run electricity up through and into your house through the grounding wire, thereby burning your house down from the inside out. But with all that,
what they're doing with that then is they're bypassing the breakers. So a fix for that would be to put breakers on your ground.
Yep, exactly. That would be the thing to do. You need to put a breaker, a really good one, on the ground coming from the ground. And that would stop them from being able to use this their magic technology to burn your house down from below. Because you notice, like in Hawaii and in Paradise, all the trees were burned out from the inside. Why? Because the trees go down into the earth. They have tap roots that go down. And so the electricity is surging up through that tree in the center and burning the tree down from the inside out while the leaves are still green on the tree. These are actual facts, folks. With that being said, and thank you, Jackie, and all the rest of you guys in the comments. Everyone has been a perfect gentleman today, and I greatly appreciate that. But we are going to end the show here now. I love all you guys. And again, if you bookmark the link that you used to come to this show, you'll be able to use the same one in the future to come back and chat with us again. And I love all you guys. We'll see you again next time here on The Supernatural Show. Goodbye for now.